Section 334.10 of the 2020 National Electrical Code, or NEC, addresses the use of flexible cords in conduit, while Section 400.8 generally prohibits the installation of flexible cords in conduit. Section 334.10 provides an exception under specific conditions. It's important to understand these conditions to ensure code-compliant and safe electrical installations. The exception in Section 334.10 allows flexible cords to be installed in conduit under 5 specific conditions. Firstly, the conduit must be installed as part of a manufactured wiring system that has been tested and listed for such use. This means that the entire wiring system, including the conduit and the flexible cord, has been evaluated by a recognized testing laboratory and found to meet certain safety standards. The listing ensures that the components are compatible and suitable for the intended application. Secondly, the conduit must be either rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, or rigid non-metallic conduit. These types of conduit provide mechanical protection for the flexible cord and are suitable for various environmental conditions. The selection of the appropriate conduit type depends on the specific application and the anticipated stresses. Thirdly, the flexible cord must be type S, C, SO, or STO. These cord types are designed for heavy-duty use and are suitable for a wide range of applications. Type S cords are designed for general use and are available in various sizes and conductor counts. Type SE cords are designed for use in damp or wet locations and have a moisture-resistant insulation. Type SEU cords are similar to Type SE cords but have a more flexible construction. Type SO cords are oil-resistant and are suitable for use in oily or greasy environments. Type STO cords are thermoplastic elastomer cords that are oil-resistant and have a high degree of flexibility. Fourthly, the conduit must not be subject to physical damage. This means that the conduit must be installed in a location where it is not likely to be struck, crushed, or otherwise damaged. If the conduit is exposed to physical damage, it should be protected by appropriate means, such as a guard or a barrier. Fifthly, the length of the cord in the conduit must not exceed 6 feet. This limitation is intended to prevent the cord from overheating due to the restricted ventilation within the conduit. The shorter the length of the cord, the less heat it will generate and the less likely it is to overheat. It is important to note that all 5 of these conditions must be met in order for the exception in Section 334.10 to apply. If any one of these conditions is not met, then the installation is not permitted by the NEC. In addition to these 5 conditions, it is also important to follow all other applicable requirements of the NEC when installing flexible cords in conduit. This includes requirements for conductor size, overcurrent protection, and grounding. Conductor size must be appropriate for the ampacity of the circuit. Overcurrent protection must be provided to protect the cord from overload and short circuit. Grounding must be provided to ensure that the cord is properly grounded in the event of a fault. When selecting a flexible cord for use in conduit, it is important to consider the specific application and the environmental conditions. The cord must be suitable for the voltage and current of the circuit, as well as the temperature and moisture levels of the environment. It is also important to select a cord that is resistant to oil, chemicals, and other substances that may be present in the environment. The installation of flexible cords in conduit should only be performed by qualified electricians who are familiar with the NEC and the proper installation techniques. Improper installation can result in electrical shock, fire, and other hazards. It is essential to follow all safety precautions and to use appropriate tools and equipment. The NEC is a comprehensive set of rules and regulations that govern the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It is important to consult the NEC and to follow all applicable requirements when installing flexible cords and conduit. Failure to comply with the NEC can result in fines, penalties, and legal liability. In summary, Section 334.10 of the 2020 NEC permits the installation of flexible cords in conduit under the following 5 conditions. Firstly, the conduit is installed as part of a manufactured wiring system that has been tested and listed for such use. Secondly, the conduit is rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, or rigid non-metallic conduit. Thirdly, the cord is type S, C, SU, SO, or STO. Fourthly, the conduit is not subject to physical damage. Fifthly, the length of the cord in the conduit does not exceed 6 feet. By understanding and following these conditions, electricians can ensure code-compliant and safe electrical installations. Let's delve a bit deeper into each of these conditions to provide a more comprehensive understanding. The first condition stipulates that the conduit must be part of a manufactured wiring system that is tested and listed for such use. This requirement emphasizes the importance of using pre-engineered and pre-tested systems that are designed to work together. A manufactured wiring system typically includes a combination of conduit, fittings, connectors, and flexible cords that have been specifically designed and tested to ensure compatibility and safety. The listing of the manufactured wiring system indicates that it has been evaluated by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories or Intertek, and found to meet the applicable safety standards. This listing provides assurance that the system is safe and reliable when installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. The second condition specifies that the conduit must be either rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, or rigid non-metallic conduit. These types of conduit are chosen for their strength, durability, and ability to protect the flexible cord from physical damage. Rigid metal conduit, or RMC, is the heaviest and most robust type of conduit. It is typically made of steel or aluminum and is used in applications where maximum protection is required. Intermediate metal conduit, or IMC, is a lighter-weight alternative to RMC that still provides a high level of protection. It is typically made of steel and is used in applications where RMC is not required. Rigid non-metallic conduit, or RNC, is made of PVC or other non-metallic materials. It is lightweight, corrosion-resistant, and easy to install. It is typically used in applications where corrosion is a concern. The third condition requires that the flexible cord be type S, C, SU, SO, or STO. These cord types are designed for heavy-duty use and are suitable for a wide range of applications. Each cord type has specific characteristics and is designed for particular environments and applications. Type S cords are designed for general use and are available in various sizes and conductor counts. They are commonly used for connecting portable tools, appliances, and equipment. Type SE cords are designed for use in damp or wet locations and have a moisture-resistant insulation. They are often used for outdoor applications or in areas where moisture is present. Type SEU cords are similar to Type SE cords but have a more flexible construction. They are often used for applications where flexibility is important. Type SO cords are oil-resistant and are suitable for use in oily or greasy environments. They are commonly used in industrial settings where oil and grease are present. Type STO cords are thermoplastic elastomer cords that are oil-resistant and have a high degree of flexibility. They are often used for applications where both oil resistance and flexibility are required. The fourth condition states that the conduit must not be subject to physical damage. This requirement is intended to protect the flexible cord from being damaged by impacts, abrasion, or other physical forces. If the conduit is exposed to physical damage, it should be protected by appropriate means such as a guard or barrier. The type of protection required will depend on the severity of the potential physical damage. The fifth condition limits the length of the cord in the conduit to a maximum of 6 feet. This limitation is intended to prevent the cord from overheating due to the restricted ventilation within the conduit. When a flexible cord is installed in conduit, the heat generated by the cord cannot dissipate as easily as it would in open air. This can cause the cord to overheat and potentially damage the insulation or even cause a fire. By limiting the length of the cord in the conduit, the amount of heat generated is reduced, and the risk of overheating is minimized. It is important to note that the 6-foot limitation applies to the length of the cord within the conduit, not the total length of the cord. The cord can extend beyond the conduit as long as the portion within the conduit does not exceed 6 feet. In addition to these 5 conditions, it is also important to consider other factors when installing flexible cords in conduit. These factors include the ampacity of the cord, the voltage rating of the cord, and the environmental conditions in which the cord will be used. The ampacity of the cord must be sufficient to carry the load that it will be supplying. The voltage rating of the cord must be equal to or greater than the voltage of the circuit. The cord must be suitable for the environmental conditions in which it will be used, such as temperature, moisture, and exposure to chemicals. It is also important to ensure that the conduit is properly grounded. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to protect against electrical shock. The grounding conductor should be sized according to the requirements of the NEC. Finally, it is important to follow all applicable safety precautions when installing flexible cords and conduit. These precautions include energizing the circuit before working on it, wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, and using proper tools and techniques. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself from injury. By understanding and following the requirements of the NEC and taking appropriate safety precautions, electricians can ensure that flexible cords are installed in conduit safely and effectively. The NEC is a complex and ever-changing document, and it is important to stay up to date on the latest requirements. The electricians should regularly attend training courses and seminars to keep their knowledge and skills current. They should also consult with experienced electricians or electrical inspectors when they have questions or concerns about electrical installations. Remember that compliance with the NEC is not just a matter of following the rules, it is a matter of ensuring the safety of people and property. Electrical installations that are not code compliant can pose a serious risk of electrical shock, fire, and other hazards. By following the requirements of the NEC, electricians can help to protect the public from these hazards. To further clarify the application of Section 334.10, let's consider a few specific examples. Example 1. A manufacturer produces a line of industrial machines that require a flexible cord connection for power. The machines are designed with a pre-wired junction box that includes a short length of rigid metal conduit extending from the box. The flexible cord is then connected to the conductors within the junction box and run through the conduit to provide strain relief and physical protection. The entire assembly, including the machine, junction box, conduit, and flexible cord, is tested and listed as a complete system by a recognized testing laboratory. In this case, the installation would be permitted under Section 334.10 because all 5 conditions are met. Firstly, the conduit is part of a manufactured wiring system that has been tested and listed for such use. Secondly, the conduit is rigid metal conduit. Thirdly, the cord is type S, C, SU, SO, or STO, depending on the specific application. Fourthly, the conduit is not subject to physical damage because it is protected by the machine enclosure. Fifthly, the length of the cord in the conduit does not exceed 6 feet. Example 2. An electrician is installing a new lighting fixture in a commercial building. The fixture requires a flexible cord connection for power. The electrician runs a length of flexible metal conduit from the building's electrical panel to the location of the fixture. He then pulls a Type S flexible cord through the conduit and connects it to the fixture. In this case, the installation would not be permitted under Section 334.10 because the conduit is not part of a manufactured wiring system that has been tested and listed for such use. Additionally, flexible metal conduit is not one of the approved conduit types listed in Section 334.10. Therefore, the electrician would need to find an alternative wiring method that complies with the NEC. Example 3. A homeowner is installing a new garbage disposal under their kitchen sink. The disposal comes with a short length of flexible cord and a plug. The homeowner decides to run the cord through a length of rigid non-metallic conduit to protect it from physical damage. In this case, the installation would not be permitted under Section 334.10 because the conduit is not part of a manufactured wiring system that has been tested and listed for such use. Additionally, the flexible cord is not Type S, C, SU, SO, or STO. It is typically a lighter duty cord that is not suitable for use in conduit. Therefore, the homeowner would need to find an alternative wiring method that complies with the NEC. These examples illustrate the importance of understanding and following all of the requirements of Section 334.10 before installing flexible cords and conduit. Failure to comply with these requirements can result in code violations, unsafe installations, and potential hazards. In conclusion, while Section 400.8 of the NEC generally prohibits the installation of flexible cords and conduit, Section 334.10 provides a specific exception under certain conditions. These conditions include the use of a listed manufactured wiring system, the use of rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, or rigid non-metallic conduit, the use of Type S, C, SO, or STO flexible cords, the protection of the conduit from physical damage, and the limitation of the cord length within the conduit to 6 feet. By carefully adhering to these conditions, electricians can safely and effectively install flexible cords and conduit where permitted by the NEC. Always consult the latest edition of the NEC and local amendments for the most up-to-date requirements and guidance. Furthermore, it's important to remember that even when an installation is permitted under Section 334.10, all other applicable requirements of the NEC must still be followed. This includes requirements for conductor sizing, overcurrent protection, grounding, and other relevant aspects of electrical installations. The exception provided by Section 334.10 does not supersede or negate any other requirements of the code. It simply provides a limited allowance for the use of flexible cords and conduit under very specific circumstances. When in doubt, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer to ensure that an electrical installation is code compliant and safe. Electrical codes and standards are complex and can be subject to interpretation. Seeking expert advice can help to avoid costly mistakes and ensure the safety of people and property. Staying informed about changes to the NEC and other relevant codes and standards is also essential for electricians and other electrical professionals. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, and new technologies and installation methods are being developed all the time. By staying up to date on the latest developments, electrical professionals can ensure that they are providing the best possible service to their clients and that their installations are safe and reliable. Continuous learning and professional development are key to success in the electrical industry.